Want to build a powerful personal brand for yourself and your business? On LinkedIn, this is exactly what I did a few years ago when I started using the platform more seriously. I started creating content intentionally, sharing with the audiences on this platform who are highly engaged and really want to learn more from myself and also my expertise. You can do exactly the same. And in this video, I'll share with you exactly what I did on my LinkedIn profile to make it stand out, to get found by individuals, companies, and opportunities on this platform, to eventually form a kind of relationships that I had with my audiences, but also creating collaborations and also potential new clients in the process. And if you haven't used LinkedIn for some time, then this video will give you a really great update on what's the latest that you should leverage on this platform to make the most of all the features, and therefore getting found by everyone who are actually interested in your services and your products. Hi, I'm Laurie. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for being here. On this channel, I simplify online marketing and social media for entrepreneurs and also creators, alongside with a dose of business building and also mindset tips from my own personal experience of running a social media and consulting company here in London. So hit that subscribe button and also notification bell to get notified every time I release a new video. All right, let's jump into it. First off, when you first sign to LinkedIn as a brand new user, you'll probably have a little gray circle as your profile image. And what you want to do is choose a clear and also authentic image of yourself, perhaps in a way that represents who you are in terms of your personal brand. Now, the second thing that I think is underrated, but definitely needs to be used on an ongoing basis going forward is a LinkedIn background image. What it is this rectangular space that's behind your profile photo that essentially can use as a way to raise awareness of your other social media channels, your websites, who you are as a brand. So in my case, because I'm a speaker, I use a lot of different speaking images in there to make sure that people are realizing that they can book me for potential upcoming speaking events. So have a think about what do you want to be represented as and how you can use that space effectively to make sure you're communicating who you are as a personal brand or as a business brand. Now, the next step is the headline. And really the headline is a sentence of summary of who you are and what you do and also what you offer. You can either have a list of different type of job titles that perhaps you want to get found on in your headline, or ideally, you can also choose something creative. Let's say helping brands think outside the box with creative strategy and also social media content. Something along those lines where essentially people get curious about who you are and what you do when they first see your headline popping up in their LinkedIn feeds. At this section, I really want to raise the importance of thinking about potentially switching to a creator profile. And one of the most obvious differences when you turn on the creator profile mode is that the button underneath your name turns from connect to follow. So as a creator on the platform, it's more about gaining more individual followers of your content rather than connections with people that you already know. So that's a key difference here. And if you can maintain that difference going forward, that's really good for you to make sure to separate the two very clearly. So for example, now I only accept connection requests from individuals I've done business with in the past, or perhaps I know personally. There's a really interesting research done by this LinkedIn influencer called Richard Vanderbloom. And what he said in the research is that for those who have creator profiles, the LinkedIn algorithm actually places your content 15 to 35% more likely in people's feeds going forward. So that's definitely a key factor why you should consider doing the creator mode, and especially if you're looking to build a following on this platform going forward. I personally have found that my content engagement have gone up by a lot more ever since I turned on the creator mode. Now, there's also a link that you can actually link to within your LinkedIn profile. The one place I think is really important to do that because it allows you to do things like, for example, building an email audience through your LinkedIn profile. So I have this link here under my one, which says, get my free newsletter here. So people usually click from here after they follow me to go and sign up as a newsletter subscriber. So it's a great way to not only leverage social media to gain more visibility, but also you're using social media to help you grow your email audience over time. And email audiences, as I always said in my previous videos, is that it's the one place where you actually own online versus borrowing your audiences on social media. Now, the next section I recommend having a look into is the LinkedIn summary. Now, LinkedIn summary is where you see people maybe put 1 or 2 lines about themselves and that's it. But actually, I think you can put a lot more detail in here. And so you see what I have is actually almost a summary of what I had on my website on how people can actually get in touch with me, but also kind of services and products that I currently offer. Now, the next step is to sync your LinkedIn account with your email address list. Let's say you currently have an email marketing list of people that you currently are connected with, either through your work or through your business. You should actually sync this up with LinkedIn, and they will tell you who else that you should invite to be a connection here on this platform. So for those of you who are starting out with 0 connections on the platform, this is a great way to start gaining that initial traction on growing audience here because you have existing connections out there who are currently hanging out on LinkedIn anyway. The next pro tip I have for you is to make sure to switch your LinkedIn profile URL into a customized URL. And what that is that right now, for example, when you first sign up for LinkedIn, you will have something like linkedin.com/your name with -3025ZZ0 or something like that behind it, which isn't exactly very search friendly, but also doesn't look as professional as it should be when you're sharing your LinkedIn externally elsewhere to connect with people. So what you can do is go to the top section of your profile and go ahead and edit into customize URL and essentially choosing something like linkedin.com/in/ let's say in my case, Laurie Wang, or you can choose another version of your name, maybe with a variation of it if currently your name is taken. Next section I want to talk about here is recommendations. And recommendations is really crucial because it gives that social proof aspect to your profile. So it's not about you saying how amazing you are, but rather how amazing others are saying about you. So if you can, request recommendations from others you work with either in your career or maybe in your business. And really adds a lot more credibility about who you are as a brand, as a personal brand, and also what you can do in the future as well. There are other sections down below where you can list things like your publications, so things that you've written for external publications previously, or even articles you've written on LinkedIn, you can list them here. You can list out all the previous skills that you gained along the way in your career or in your business and have them displayed there as well as any qualifications that you gain along the way. As you're building your connection over time, one thing I want to mention is that when you look on the right-hand side of your LinkedIn profile, you will usually see that LinkedIn has recommended some other people that you should connect with. I think this is really useful because LinkedIn is using their existing knowledge about you and your connections to tell you more people that might be relevant to you as well. So I recommend reviewing that on a regular basis to make sure you can add any other individuals that might be interesting to have as part of your connection and your network. Some of you guys might be asking about posting frequency. So how often should you post on LinkedIn? And referencing to this research from Richard Vanderbloom on LinkedIn, what he noticed is that posting frequency, so the more frequent you actually post, the more potential exposure you will get on this platform, which is pretty much true across all social media platforms anyway. But what I found is that on LinkedIn, if you do it regularly, let's say on a daily basis, besides the weekend. So for myself, I don't post on Sundays and Saturdays just because I have boundaries on how I want to use social media in my life. But if I use it every single day on Monday to Friday, I definitely see it very much an uplift in terms of the overall reach that I have with individuals on this platform, and also growing my following because of that as well. So in the 1 year that I've consistently used LinkedIn on a regular basis from Monday to Friday, I actually have seen my following tripled over time, which is probably the fastest growth that I've seen across any of my social media platforms. It's not so much about posting for posting's sake, but rather posting relevant content that's relevant to your audiences and also what you have to share as a personal brand or a business. But the reason why I'm doing this, and I think for a lot of other individuals on LinkedIn, is that LinkedIn's a really great place for B2B type of conversions. And I myself actually benefit from this in the sense that there's been a lot more speaking engagements being booked through LinkedIn to myself, as well as workshops and trainings because of that as well. So it really links back to the business benefit and the overall business goal that I have around social media. In this case, LinkedIn have worked out really well for me. So I recommend you test it out in terms of your own content and also how much inquiries, potential leads you're getting on the back of that through LinkedIn as well. I think especially for a business to business type of model, this platform is so powerful. When posting on LinkedIn, I found the best time to post is around 8 to 10 a.m. And because most people are actually checking the platform in the early mornings, maybe on their way to work, or maybe they're just getting up and starting their computer. But whatever it is, I find that usually by posting earlier on the day, I get a lot more engagements and inquiries and also comments because of that. So it's really good way to test for yourself as well. Obviously, everyone's audience is different. I always say this in all of my videos, all of my workshops, is that we should embrace the testing first mentality. So test it out, see how the mornings work for you around 8 to 10 a.m. Or alternatively, try the afternoon as well when people are on their way home from work. If you do post more than once a day, I find that it's a diminishing return of engagement. And what that means is that by you doing that, you're actually taking away the engagement on multiple posts in a day. So that's my personal experience. It's not scientific by any way, but I do find that this is the case for myself. And again, I recommend that if you try it out, test it out for yourself, maybe doing 2 posts a day, 1 post a day, see what works better for you as well. There's been some interesting case studies where some individuals use a company page as a way to share their content on LinkedIn rather than their personal page. Generally speaking, you can post multiple times on a company page without seeing the same result as you see on the personal page where there's a diminishing return on engagement. So if that's what you like to do and you have a strong business brand, I recommend using LinkedIn pages rather than your LinkedIn personal profile. But honestly, in my personal opinion, there's just not enough time to maintain 2 pages at the same time. And I feel like my personal brand is much more important to grow right now than my company page. So I probably won't be doing that very frequently. I occasionally maybe share something on my company page that I've done on my personal page to maybe use it vice versa. But besides from that, really isn't my key focus right now. The type of posts that I found to be really popular and worked really well for me are the carousel type of posts on LinkedIn. So carousel essentially is a string of posts that you can do that you can slide through slide by slide as people are going through that slideshow. But people don't talk about this is that LinkedIn, you can only upload a carousel as a PDF. So when you go into Canva, if you're not a Canva user, there's actually a Canva tutorial on my channel. Check it out here. But if you currently are using Canva, you can go into Canva and download all your slides into a PDF and therefore share it on LinkedIn as a document. So this is the part that a lot of people don't talk about is that you don't just share it as a series of photos, but rather as a one document. And you name that document as whatever the title of your post would be. The other best practice, and again, it's not scientific in any way, but I do find that if I put a link in my post, it does decrease my engagement by a lot more. And really that comes back to the fact that perhaps LinkedIn or any social media platform doesn't like you linking away from the platform because they want users to stay on the platform as much as possible. But you linking in the post itself, it might drive users away. So ideally, I would say if you can, wait an hour or two after you post it, then include the link itself in the comment section. And that worked really well because not only it counts as a link in the comments, but also additional comments to be added to the overall string of comments coming in. And that creates the overall engagement effect on the algorithm. There's one last pro tip I want to share with you. It's something that I've been using myself, but also seeing others in my network having a lot of success with this. And that is using the voice messages function within LinkedIn messages. And that's essentially your direct messages that you have with other users in the platform. Many don't know this, but there's actually a voice message function within LinkedIn messages. And whenever I have a new connection, I try to send a voice message to them first as a way to say hi, but also making that personal connection. And let's be honest, when you first go into your LinkedIn message inbox and you see someone sending you a voice message file, most likely the curiosity will lead you to go ahead and open it and listen to who is it from and what is he or she saying. And I feel like adding your voice to this really adds another dimension of that personal connection and allow you to really find out more about that person in a much quicker way as well, because rather than having typing out a paragraph or two about yourself, you can say it very quickly in a voice message. So give it a try and let me know how you get on. And remember, after you share your content on LinkedIn, to go back to the platform within the first hour or two to respond to the comments quickly. And that means that you're adding more engagement power really behind this post that you shared, allowing the algorithm to show it to more individuals. And that seemed to have worked really well in my experience as well. Because the key thing here on LinkedIn is that every time someone comments or likes on your post, that goes out to all their connections to be seen as well, which creates this very powerful amplification effect that allows more and more individuals to find your post from that. And some posts of mine have done really well on LinkedIn because of the fact that people are sharing, commenting, and other individuals in their network are discovering that post too. And the last thing I want to mention here is that on LinkedIn, you can actually schedule your posts now going forward. So that means that you can now schedule all your 8 to 10 a.m. posts if you like to, without having to worry about it on a day. So it just makes it so much easier for yourself and not having to use external social media apps for this too, if you don't want to. There are lots more tips on LinkedIn I want to share with you. But in this video, I want to really focus on the profile setup, but also how you can use some of the features very quickly to start gaining traction and momentum on this platform. I hope that you found the video helpful in setting up your profile for success, but also making meaningful connections on the platform to connect with those who potentially can become your collaborators, your potential clients, business partners, whatever it might be, because on this platform, there's so many potential opportunities waiting out there for you. Let me know if you got any more tips to share or any comments that you might have down below. I look forward to hearing from you. In the meantime, if you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who might also need this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.